Greece, the land of sun, sea, and history. But beneath those gleaming stones lie dark secrets hidden for thousands of years. Today we lift the veil on those secrets one by one, and what you see will completely change the Greece you thought you knew. 1. Santorini and the legend of the lost Atlantis. In the middle of the Aegean Sea lies an island born of fire, Santorini. This place, where tourists now watch romantic sunsets, was the scene of one of history's greatest catastrophes thousands of years ago. Around 1600 BC, the Thera volcano erupted. It was such a massive eruption that the island was nearly split in two. Ash covered the sky, waves reached as far as Crete, and even wiped out the Minoan civilization. Centuries later, when the ancient philosopher Plato spoke of a civilization buried beneath the sea, many believed he was referring to Santorini. The lost world of Atlantis may have lain here, in the heart of the Aegean. Some divers still claim to see stone walls and column remains beneath the sea. Santorini's broken volcanic crater may bear not only the power of nature, but also the traces of a civilization forgotten by humanity. Perhaps Atlantis really was here. Or perhaps it is still there, beneath the sea, sleeping silently. 2. The Aegean Sea's underwater mystery. The Antikythera mechanism. In 1901, amid the waves of the Aegean Sea, a group of sponge divers stumbled upon one of history's most astonishing discoveries off the coast of Antikythera Island. A Roman ship, lying deep below, had been waiting silently under the sand for centuries. A pile of bronze retrieved from the wreck was initially thought to be just ordinary debris. But as the years passed, it became clear that these rusty metal pieces belonged to one of the most mysterious devices in human history, the Antikythera mechanism. When scientists examined this artifact, they encountered a mechanical computer dating back 2,000 years. It could calculate the movements of the sun, moon, and even the planets using its gear system. Each cycle displayed time with mathematical precision. How was such an advanced device made thousands of years before modern engineering? Who carried this knowledge? Who hid this intelligence? According to some theories, this machine was not just an astronomical tool, but also had religious significance with its power of prophecy and calendar. Another view suggests that Antikythera is a remnant of a lost science. The device, now on display at the National Archaeological Museum in Athens, is still full of unsolved mysteries. 3. The Minotaur legend in Crete, secrets of the Knossos Labyrinth. In the heart of the island of Crete, a silent secret lies hidden among walls of stone thousands of years old. The Palace of Knossos, the center of the Minoan culture, one of Europe's oldest civilizations. Legends say that beneath this palace lived a creature, half man, half bull, thirsty for human flesh, the Minotaur. Every year, 7 young men and 7 young women sent from Athens were sacrificed to this creature in the darkness of the labyrinth. But one day, a hero named Theseus entered the darkness with Ariadne's thread and killed the Minotaur. Although this story has been told as a myth for centuries, excavations whisper a different possibility. When archaeologists discovered the complex tunnels beneath Knossos, the wall paintings depicting bull rituals, and the remains indicating sacrificial ceremonies, they realized the legend was not as distant as we thought. The bull was not just an animal in the Minoan civilization, but a sacred symbol. The acrobatic leaps performed with it were displays of courage dedicated to the gods. Perhaps the Minotaur was not a real creature, but rather a symbol steeped in fear for these rituals. Knossos is silent today. The wind blows across the marble floors, as if carrying whispers from the past. Every stone tells a story imprinted on the walls of the labyrinth. 4. The forbidden zone of Mount Athos, the peninsula where women are not allowed. In northern Greece, a peninsula shrouded in mist stretches out, Mount Athos. Here, time flows differently, and the outside world remains outside. This sacred region, ruled by male monks for over 1,000 years, is one of the world's most closed religious communities. Since 1046, women have been strictly forbidden from entering the region. Rumor has it that there were even periods when female animals were not allowed in. The reason for this rule is that it is considered the sacred domain of the Virgin Mary. According to legend, Mary visited these lands and declared them her homeland. Since that day, no woman has set foot in her domain. Even today, entering Athos remains difficult. Only a limited number of male visitors are permitted each year, and approaching without special permission is forbidden. The monks living in the monasteries lead an isolated life without electricity. Nothing is heard but prayer and silence. Boats passing by the shores of Athos watch those dark green mountains from afar. This forbidden zone is like a time capsule in the middle of the modern world. Perhaps the secret of Athos lies in this very silence, a place that silences the outside world and reminds us to listen to our inner world. 5. The Shipwreck at Navagio Beach, the Smugglers' Enigma. North of Zakynthos Island, surrounded by the blue waters of the Ionian Sea, lies a secluded and hard-to-reach cove. Between vertical cliffs, amidst pristine white sands, lies the skeleton of a ship. Its rust-covered hull has been baking in the sun for years, sea salt corroding the metal. This ship is known as the Panagiotis, but everyone calls it by another name, Smuggler's Ship. It is said to have been washed ashore during a storm in the early 1980s, but there is a darker trail behind the story. According to official records, the ship was carrying contraband cigarettes from Italy. It was caught in a storm while being pursued by the Greek Navy and then washed up on this beach. However, the islanders are not so sure. Some say the ship's hold contained gold, contraband alcohol, and undocumented goods, and that the authorities quietly covered up the incident. Over time, Panagiotis transformed from a crime scene into a tourist icon. Today, thousands photograph the cove and watch the rusty ship with drones. But at night, the islanders don't go down to the shore. The salty sea breeze carries the humming sound coming from the metal. 6. Mystras Ghost Town, the forgotten capital of the Middle Ages. Just outside Sparta, at the foot of Mount Athos, lies a silent city surrounded by stone walls, Mystras. Once one of the most brilliant centers of the Byzantine Empire, it was a capital where emperors were crowned and philosophers and artists gathered. Founded in the 13th century as the heart of the despotate of the Morea, it was the last light before the fall of Byzantium. But as time passed, the city fell silent. With the Ottoman conquest, the people migrated, the houses were abandoned, and the domes of the churches became covered in moss. Centuries later, only stone walls that speak with the wind remain. Today, those who visit Mystras feel a strange mixture of peace and unease as they walk through its narrow streets. Every step echoing among the ruins seems to carry the breath of the past. At sunset, the shadows falling on the walls resemble silhouettes from ancient times. Some say they hear choir voices coming from inside the churches at night. Perhaps this city was not completely abandoned. Perhaps Mystras still holds the spirits of the past, preserving the echoes of a civilization forgotten by history within its walls. Each stone is like a prayer, silent but alive. 7. The secret tradition of Greek winemaking. On the sun-baked hills of Greece, another scent mingles with the smell of salt carried by the wind from the sea, the heavy, sweet scent of fermenting grapes. Here, wine is not just a drink, but a bond between gods and humans. It has been considered the legacy of Dionysus since ancient times, but some traditions are still kept secret. Especially in the regions of Santorini, Nemea, and Naousa, wine production is carried out like a ritual. The soil of each vineyard consists of volcanic ash, wind, and salt. Each grape speaks in a language unique to that island. In the vineyards of Santorini, called aspa, the grapes are grown close to the ground in a circular pattern to protect them from the wind. This method has remained unchanged for thousands of years. Some villagers say that these techniques originate from the teachings of the god Dionysus. When harvest time arrives, small rituals performed at night still survive. Prayers are said when the first drop is poured into the wine barrel, because it is believed that wine has a soul. The mystery of Greek winemaking lies not only in its production, but also in its silence. Each bottle carries centuries of knowledge but does not speak, it only tells its story when tasted. 8. The mystery of Cycladic figurines. On the small islands of the Aegean, thousands of years ago, people created a silent artistic language. Today known as Cycladic figurines, these small marble sculptures are one of humanity's oldest aesthetic secrets, both for their simplicity and the unknown meanings they carry. With their hands clasped on their chests, their faces expressionless, and their bodies carved with geometric elegance, these figurines date back to the early Bronze Age, around 3000 BC. Most were found in tombs, but for whom and why they were made remains unclear. Some archaeologists suggest they symbolize fertility, motherhood, or the afterlife. Others claim the figurines are body prayers, made to communicate with the gods. Interestingly, while the figurines are formally similar, each has slight differences in the face, hands, or proportions. This raises the possibility that they may be personal portraits. The influence of Cycladic figurines did not remain confined to antiquity. Pioneers of modern art, Picasso, Brancusi, Modigliani, drew inspiration from the simple power of these sculptures. 9 Black Magic Rituals and Forbidden Areas in Greece. The ancient lands of Greece have been home not only to the gods of mythology, but also to the shadow of dark beliefs. Since ancient times, the concepts of magic, talismans, and curses have quietly existed in the depths of these lands. Archaeologists have found clay tablets buried in the ground at the Agora in Athens and at some excavations in Thessaly. Names, symbols, and curse words were engraved on them. These talismans are known as depictions, meaning black magic seals made to interfere with someone's destiny. They were usually buried with the bones of sacrificed animals, believed to summon spirits. In some regions, particularly in the mountain villages of Epirus, these traditions have carried over into modern times. It is said that elderly women whisper ancient formulas while praying in abandoned churches at night. Black magic talismans, known among the people as desmos, are still spoken of with fear. If someone is believed to have been bewitched, a special ritual is performed with a priest to break the spell. Prayers, incense, and holy water are used together in these ceremonies, as faith is considered the most powerful weapon against black magic. 10 UFO claims on Mount Penteli. North of Athens, a quiet but eerie mountain rises, Penteli. During the day, it looks like an ordinary natural landscape, but at night, the door to a completely different world opens. For decades, this area has been the center of unexplained events. Lights suddenly appearing in the sky, compasses going haywire, electronic devices suddenly malfunctioning. Local residents, especially those around Penteli Cave, report strange vibrations, humming noises, and occasional blinding flashes. Since the 1950s, this mountain has been referred to as Greece's own Bermuda Triangle. Although military officials deny the observations, frequent bans on entering the area have only heightened suspicions. Some researchers have attempted to explain these events with geomagnetic energy, while others believe there is a secret military research base in the underground tunnels. However, UFO enthusiasts insist that the lights they see in Penteli come from an extraterrestrial source. 11. Kastellorizo, Greece's farthest island. If you look at the farthest point on the map, towards the infinity of blue, you will see a small. That is Kastellorizo. It is close enough to the Turkish coast that you could almost swim there, yet it is just as far away. This island is the easternmost part of Greece and also the loneliest. Time flows differently here, sunset is like a ceremony, and the sea wakes up to a different color every morning. Wars, migrations, silence. Kastellorizo has experienced it all. Once home to thousands of people, today this island is home to only a few hundred. Every house is pastel-colored, but most of the time the wind sits inside them, because their owners are long gone. Bombed repeatedly during World War II, the island was abandoned to its fate for many years. In that silence, the stories carried by the wind remained. Old fishermen talk about blue lights coming from the sea at night. Some say they are the spirits of the sea, others say they are the ghosts of sailors who drowned in the past. 12 Melissani Cave, Nature and Ancient Beliefs. In the heart of Kefalonia Island, hidden within the rocks, lies a blue world. Melissani Cave. From the outside, it looks like an ordinary lake, but when you step inside, time and light behave in a completely different way. The sun enters through the large opening in the ceiling, and when it hits the water, the lake merges with the sky, the shades of blue and green dancing like a dream. Thousands of years ago, this place was considered sacred by the ancient Greeks and was known as the home of the nymphs, the water spirits. According to legend, the nymph Melissani, who was in love with the god Pan, threw herself into this lake when her love was unrequited, and her spirit merged with the water. Even today, when you look at the lake, you feel as if that spirit still roams its depths. Rediscovered in 1951, the cave structure is the work of nature's patience over thousands of years. This void, formed by underground waters eroding limestone, is not the result of a disaster, but of beauty.